Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Sofirn IF24 rechargeable flashlight with RGB floodlight and spotlight. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So if we take a look at the back, we have the specs. This shows the different modes. We have moon, low, medium, high, turbo, and strobe. The moon mode is 1 lumen up to turbo at 2000 lumens. And here we have the power ratings. It has an IP66 waterproof rating. Beam distance is 1 to 251 meters. So let's get this open. Here we have a lanyard. Here's the flashlight. And we have the accessories here. So here we have a USB-A to USB Type-C charge cable. And here we have the manual. Let's take a quick look at it. So here we have a chart with the runtimes for all of the different modes. And here we have more specs. So this has 2 switches, has a rotary switch and a side switch. It has a battery indicator. When it's green constant on, it's 50 to 100%. Red constant on is 10 to 50%, and red flashes is 0 to 10%. And here we have a chart for accessing all the different features. This can look a little overwhelming, but there's a method to it, so it's not too hard to navigate. And I will demonstrate these. And we have another language on the back. So let's look at the light. So there's a tag on here telling us to remove the little tab for the battery for storage. So this is made of aluminum, and it has a matte finish on it. It has a really nice look to it. Has a slightly rough texture. So we have a clip on the back side, so you can clip that to your pocket. This is a nice size for everyday carry. Let me get a dimension on this. So it's just under 5 inches, and it's a little under 1 inch across. It's actually about 1 inch square, but the clip hangs out a little further, maybe about 1 1/8 or 1 1/4. So we have a switch in the middle here that you can click, and then we also have the rotary switch. So this is the lockout mode. Let me unscrew the back. That gives us access to the battery. So there's the tab we removed, and here's the battery. It's an 18650 cell, 3.7 volts, 3000 milliamp hour. Put that back in. And there is a gasket on here. The charge port is on the side. There's the USB Type-C charging. So we can rotate this. So that turned on the main light. We can rotate again. That turns on the side light. Again, flood. So this was the RGB, flood, and lockout mode. So I'll turn to the main light, and if we single click this, it will turn it on or off. Then if we press and hold it, it will change the brightness level. So we had low, medium, and high. Now if we press and hold it from off, we have the moonlight mode. So this is on just a tiny bit. So if it's the middle of night and you want to look at something, you don't want or need a lot of light because your eyes will have adjusted to the darkness. So you can use that mode. Now if we double click, we're going to have turbo mode. Now we're going to have flashing lights in this video, so if you're sensitive to that, you'll not want to watch. And there might be flashing lights for the rest of the video. So I'll double tap again, and here we have the strobe mode, we have the SOS mode, and the beacon mode. So I will show all these in the dark. I'm just demonstrating the operation of them on my bench here. So then we have the color mode, so that's on the side here. And we can press and hold this to change the colors. So it's going to cycle through the different colors. And if we stop on a color, let's turn it off now, and back on, it stays at that color. Now we can double click this for different modes. So this is called the police flash. This is rainbow. No, that's the police flash. I think we were on a different mode. Let's try this again. So this, I think, is rainbow, RGB waterfall, droplets, neon fade. So I think we started off on neon fade. So then we'll turn to the flood mode, and this is going to be the same as the spot mode. So I can click it to turn it on or off. I can hold it down to change the brightness. I'll turn it off. When it's off, I'll hold this down, and we have the moon mode. So you have a moon in the spotlight or the flood, and then we'll double tap. And here we have the turbo mode, strobe, SOS, and beacon. When we're not using it, we can switch it back to lockout mode. So there's tons of modes on this. I don't think it's going to take long to get used to how to use them. So I'm going to get this charged up, and then I'll test it out and we'll do some more demonstrations with it. So to do that, I'll plug it into USB. So you can use a phone charger, computer, wall outlet with USB, car charger, but power bank. There's many options. I'm just using a USB charger. Plug that in. So we have the red light here, means we're between 10 and 50%, and we're currently charging at 1.64 amps. So the charge rate can vary depending on the state of the charge of the battery. Now since this has an 18650 cell, you could carry around spare cells for this and swap them out, which would give you unlimited usage out of this. So I am going to put the tether on. There we go. I'll be back after this is charged and we'll test it out. Okay, so I'm standing at the end of my 50-foot driveway. I have my garage doors in front of me, so I'll turn the spotlight on so we can see this shining at the doors. Now I'm going to turn this on the bright mode. And we can see this is a lot brighter now. This is lighting up the whole driveway. And we have that nice even light. So I'll quickly do the other modes. Let's look at moon mode. So this isn't quite reaching the door, but we can see out in front of me, we have the light. Now let's look at the floodlight. So I'm just going to shine this in front of me, double tap it, and it's a lot brighter now. Let me go into the wide angle mode. So this is lighting up a wide area. It's hard to see how wide this is on camera, but it's lighting up a good portion of the driveway, and it's a nice, very even light. Now let's try moon mode, and this is a very, very dim light. I can barely tell the difference between it and the moonlight, but you can see the light is on. So this would be perfect for inside of a tent when you're trying to look through your things at night. Okay, so now I'm here in my garage, and I have the camera pointed at my engine bay, so I'll turn on the spotlight, and you can see that here. I'll turn it on bright, and we're lighting up the whole engine bay with this, and we can see that bright spotlight in the middle. But let's turn it on to the flood mode now. So it looks quite a bit brighter in person than it does on camera. So here I can see the engine bay, but let me double tap it, and now we have it very bright. So this is a pretty compact flashlight, so I could even go in here and inspect the engine, like if I had a leak or something, and easily see it with this flashlight. Now if the flashlight's in the off mode, I can just hold down the power button and it will turn on the moon spotlight. So you can barely see that here, but it's nice to have easy access to that really dim light when you need it. So now let's say we have a flat tire and we need some light. So here's the spotlight on the wheel. I can hold that down and we have the brighter light. So now I'll turn it to the flood, and there we have the flood and the brighter flood. Now this is magnetic, and we could stick this to the side of the car. Now we want to make sure we don't scratch the car, but here we have hands-free light on the wheel, so we can change the tire. And again, this is a lot brighter in person than it is on camera. Let's take a look at RGB mode. So I'll tap this, and we can see the different lights. So this is fading between different colors. This is the drip or waterfall. Maybe that was waterfall, this might be drip. So that's the Sofirn IF24 rechargeable LED flashlight with RGB spotlight and floodlight. So I really like the versatility of this flashlight. We have the spotlight here, the flood here. It has a super cool industrial look to it. It just feels solid in the hand. I mean, it has that nice matte finish on it. Now I took this camping over the weekend, and it did take a little bit getting used to for turning it on. So I'd want to turn on the spotlight and I'd accidentally turn on the floodlight, but I soon got used to it. So I could easily just pull it out of my pocket and turn it to the mode I wanted. Now I discovered it had the feature on it where I could just hold down the power button even when it's off, and it has that moonlight on. There's sometimes I just needed a little light, so I could pull this out, hold that down, I could then shine it on the zipper on my tent or something and see it without even turning on one of the main modes. I really like that magnet on the back. The bathrooms at the campground I went to had no power, but there were some metal brackets on the ceiling joist. I was able to easily stick that to that, and I had a light in the bathroom, and it worked great for that. And it's nice that when you want a lot of power, this has a lot of power. It puts out a ton of light in the spot and the floodlight mode, but then it can also go down to that moon mode in either one. Because we often talk about how bright a flashlight is, but sometimes you just want that really dim light, and this could deliver. And then if you want to have a little bit of fun, it has those RGB modes with the different patterns. So if you're looking for an everyday carry flashlight with tons of features, I think this is a great option. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.